The NFL draft is 2 weeks from today. The Commanders hold pick number 29. They've got 5 overall selections. One of the reasons there's a really good chance that they may trade back out of the first round altogether. For Washington, their total draft picks going in 29, that's in round 1, 61 overall, that is in round 2, then 128, which is actually the end of round 4. And then 205, end of round 6, 245, end of round 7. So they have what is effectively 2 picks before the end of the 4th round.
Yeah.
So they got some work to do. But I wanted to go through some of their needs, and I want to play need or want, Danny. So let's prioritize like how big of a need they are. We'll start with cornerback. They did add a starter, if you kind of squint and tilt your head to the side, this offseason. But they did not add a unquestioned every down boundary corner, right? They're going to rely upon the growth internally of Marshawn Lattimore being better than he was last year. I think they're going to rely upon Mikey Sanders still, either in the nickel or outside. But do you think that returning Noah Igbenogany, keeping him in the mix, going and getting Jonathan Jones from New England, who's the one starting caliber player they brought in, makes this more of a want, or is it still a need to get a corner early in the draft?
If they're right, it's a want. If Danny's right, it's a need. I'm not buying it. I like.
What makes you think they think it's a want?
They didn't go get a marquee free agent in that regard.
They didn't get an edge either. I'll bet they know it's a need.
Well, I think they are more confident in Marshawn Lattimore and their group than I am. I am not confident in Lattimore at all. I think this is I don't want to say a fool's errand because he's got some pretty good deposits in the bank, but it's been a long time since those things were there. So to me, I think they could really use a young, strong, outstanding corner. I think they passed that up in free agency. I think Jones is fine, but I think there were a couple stars that they could have had for a reasonable amount. They didn't do that.
I think that they're banking on Lattimore being really good so that they have solved the number 1 corner spot. But I could still see them taking a corner in the 2nd round if they trade back. I think they acknowledge and know that they're not good enough at that position to be a great defense. I'm going to put it as a need still. That's not to say I don't like going and getting Jonathan Jones from New England. I thought that was a nice addition, but he is a nice role-playing depth piece. That's what I think a lot of their corners are. I'm not sold on Lattimore either, for the record. I love Sanders still, but I want him inside, where Igbenogany was awesome last year. They could actually have a really good nickel situation. Like between Igbenogany, Sanders still, and Jones, who played a lot in the nickel, I think they're going to be pretty set there. That's a pretty good depth.
Yeah, they're going to be flexible there.
It's the boundary where I worry, so I'll say need. 1 out of 10, how much of a need would you rank it? 6. I'm going to put it at a 7. We're kind of in lockstep. All right, next on the list, edge.
This is a need. It just is. I don't mind having Cleveland Farrell, Dorrance Armstrong, Dietrich Wise. I like having those guys, but I need one. I need that pass rusher. I need that difference maker. I got solid. Solid is covered. Armstrong, I think, is maybe even a little bit better than solid. For me, Farrell, Wise, and company, that's stay at home, do your job, set the edge, right shoulder or the outside shoulder of the tackle, blah, blah, blah. Nothing dynamic there. I could use a dynamic pass rusher. I think that's a major need.
Yeah, I don't even need to add anything because I think it's not even debatable. Probably didn't need to put it on the list. I guess the more interesting question is how big of a need, 1 to 10. I would list it as a 10. I mean, to me, if you start this year with what they have right now as their defensive ends, they did a bad job at that position. And I love this front office, and I love Adam Peters. That's a bad job fixing a really important position. Your double-digit sack guy walked, who you could have paid and kept around if you wanted to. I know he's not particularly good against the run. You might be a little bit better stopping the run because of some of the jag edges that you mentioned that they do have around, like Cleveland Farrell, who could do an okay job when he's healthy, setting the edge. But I need some speed. I need someone who scares you a little bit. I need someone that an offensive tackle's got to worry about beating them all game long and getting 2.5 sacks. They do not have that guy. So their starter opposite Armstrong, and starter maybe isn't even the best word, the guy that's going to get the most pass rushing work opposite Armstrong better not be on this roster yet, in my opinion. It's a 10 out of 10 need for me.
Yeah, and I'm feeding out of the same trough. 9, 10, however you want to slice it up, it's a big one.
All right. Need or want Commanders positions of what we'll call problem areas where they haven't been very strong. Let's go running back.
I view it as a need. Again, I don't know that they do. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll be proven incorrect here on this, but I think they like this style. I think they like this thumping. Let's have Brian Robinson. If Brian Robinson can't go, let's have somebody like him go. And to me, they are not majoring in the scat back or the pass catcher. They feel like they've got that solved with Austin Eckler. I'm worried that they're going to kind of run back the same room. I think they might view it as a want. I view it as a need. I think they need something dynamic back there.
So this is a want for sure, but it's something I want badly. Like, they need the kind of guy that I want, if I could complicate this, to be the type of offense that I want them to be. They could have the exact same running backs right now, go into the season, and be fine. But there's nothing wrong with Robinson and Eckler and McNichols. Like, we just saw it. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're a methodical, thumping, uninspiring, unexciting offense. I want speed. I want fast. I want scary. I want game breaking. And that's where, for me, running back should be like an 8 need for them, but it is a want because they kept everybody on their roster and they brought some of the guys back as well, like McNichols.
Mm-hmm. That's what I worry about, is that it's a crowded room that this new scat back is walking into. So I don't know. It seems to me they go, no, we like that group. And maybe they're viewing it as the biggest problem with our run game down the stretch, basically this entire second half of the year, minus that Tennessee game. Maybe it was offensive line related. Maybe it was teams weren't threatened that they were going to go deep and teams schemed a certain way against us, and that's going to be different now. I have no idea. I know that it was hard to watch those guys take handoffs and not go anywhere.
There's only going to be 2 running backs that go in the first round. Ashton Genty from Boise State, who just had one of the great years ever, and Amarion Hampton out of North Carolina. Hampton's supposed to go somewhere in the teens, early 20s. Will go before Washington at this point based on the helium he's getting as a candidate. After that, I don't think anybody else goes before several picks into the second round. So someone like Travion Henderson, who could be a home run hitter out of Ohio State, I think that's a player Washington could take if they traded back into the mid-30s. Quinshawn Judkins, also from Ohio State, another guy that could make some sense. But I would even wait into the mid-rounds. I think that's generally where you do your best in terms of value at running back, whether that's Cam Skattebo from Arizona State, if they want a bigger, more physical guy. Again, I want speed, so I think you could grab someone like Bashul Tutin out of Virginia Tech, the 205-pound burner, who had the fastest 40 time at the combine at the position. I don't know what people are saying now, but I don't know why you couldn't get him in the mid to late third round, something like that. And there are guys like him, right? Woody Marks, USC, Jaden Blue, Texas, Marcus Yams, Delaware.
Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, I like a lot.
Yeah, now, pick your fastest guy, look at the 40 times, watch the tape, whatever. But go get me some speed. I think they'll do it. I just think it's going to be later than people want. Maybe it's a 5th round running back, right, something like that.
And that's my wheelhouse, by the way. I would do that. I don't say I would do it every year, but I would do that a lot. Every couple of years, it's find me, I'm blanking on the guy's name, but the super fast guy out of middle of nowhere, Colorado, that ran great for Denver for a couple of months and then, got banged up and then we never heard from him again. That kind of player is what I would major in. The late rounds of the draft, I'd find the hyper quick, hyper athletic running back that may not have had the great production.